I'm Elliot Reeves, this is Lynette Gray, and you're watching The Elliot Reeves Show. Lynette, thank you so much for coming. It's brilliant to have you here.
Thanks for having me. I love your space.
Thank you
so
very much.
inspiring.
Yeah, it's inspiring. Yeah, I like to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what people probably can't see is the fact that there's like foam padding around most walls. We've got a big sort of meditative thing going on here with an elephant on the wall, a Buddha here.
And good coffee.
And good coffee.
And good
of course.
coffee.
You always
Only
need good
the
coffee.
best.
Yeah.
So yeah, as soon as I came into your space, I'm like, wow.
Cool.
Centre of Edinburgh. Yep, love it.
Awesome. So I was saying to you when you came in earlier, I think the first time that I was aware of you was through our good friends Andrew Johnson and Gary Young.
Yes.
So like in terms of what you do and your job and how you describe yourself, I mean, what would be your sort of elevator pitch to people?
Oh yeah, I should have thought of this. Well, I'm a life coach and meditation guide, and
Cool.
my passion, my purpose is to create safe spaces for people so that they can, open up and tune into who they truly are. And I do that with weekly classes, but I also do that one-to-one.
Okay,
Yeah.
Awesome. So like going back to your earlier life and maybe, the sort of path that led you into that. I mean,
Yeah.
you can go into a bit of detail about, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, I was really in my mind, okay? So from about 12, I started to not feel very good,
Okay.
but I didn't share with anyone. And then I just kept going with life, and I had all these crazy thoughts in my head, horrible thoughts. I was beating myself up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Then got into my 20s and discovered partying and really went on a journey of parties and friendships and connections. But actually, when I was alone, I wasn't connected. I was distracted a lot of the time. I spent summer in Ibiza and, went to Australia and just, I wasn't happy. But looking at me, I was the party girl. I probably maybe looked happy and maybe it looked like I was having the best life.
Yeah.
And looking back, I'm like, shit, I should have appreciated it back then because I was so free. I was able to do whatever I wanted. And yeah, I just wasn't feeling it though. I wasn't present. I was
Okay.
constantly looking at the past or looking at the future. I didn't know anything about mindfulness or meditation. And I didn't realize that other people felt the way I was feeling because I didn't share it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
once I started to, what happened was I had my son, who was the greatest gift ever because he allowed me to stay put in one place.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
he also
yeah.
opened me up to many things. But when I had him, I couldn't run away anymore. And I don't know what I was running away from. I was running away from myself. But I had to be stuck, like in Edinburgh, and I
Okay.
had responsibility now. So when he was about 2, I got diagnosed with postnatal depression. Now, I'd hid it for 2 years. I'd managed to escape. They get you to fill out a form to see how you're feeling and how you're doing.
Okay.
And I don't know how that didn't happen. So when I was 2, I went to the doctors and I said how I was feeling, and they were like, oh, okay, you've got postnatal depression.
How would you describe the way that you were feeling?
Like I didn't want to be here.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. Like just didn't want to live. Wanted to jump off a bridge because I couldn't handle
Jeez.
how I was feeling. And I now had a baby to look after, my beautiful son.
Yeah.
And, his sleeping wasn't great. So to add that onto your mental health, he was waking up every 2 hours. So I was stressed. I'm a single parent, so there was nobody really to help me, it felt like. Even though, I've got my supportive parents and my auntie and cousin and my brother, but they weren't at home with me at night. It was just me and my son. So, and I hadn't really opened up to anyone. People maybe knew. I'm sure they could sense it off me and feel it, but I tried to keep it contained.
Okay.
And I think getting that diagnosis allowed me to look back on my life and realise this started when I was 12. It wasn't just the postnatal depression. This was a depression and an anxiety. I didn't know what anxiety was until I was in Australia and I'd fallen pregnant, and I described to my friend's mother how I was feeling all the time. This tight sort of chest and like panicked, and I was always shaking. She was like, I think you've got anxiety. And before that, I didn't know what it was. I just thought that's how human beings were to be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or that I was weird or something.
A lot of people seem to suffer from anxiety these days.
Yes,
you hear
it's
about it
common.
a lot, but you're right. I mean, if you don't know what the warning signs are, what, it actually is like to have it,
Yeah,
and often it goes undiagnosed, if you like,
Because it must have just started to happen, and then that was me. I was just living in this anxiety. That was me, yeah. So getting that diagnosis was a real turning point. It was my lowest point, but I feel like I needed that to awaken. So I got put on antidepressants, which I was like, give me anything. I just want to feel good, And I was on a high doses. So getting on them, though, really allowed me to start to look for other options. So I started to read loads of books.
Okay.
I ordered every single Dr. Wayne Dyer book there is because he, for some reason, he really touched my heart.
Yeah.
And when I read his books, I started to understand what was going on. So I would read like a maniac, okay? And for the first sort of 4 years of my healing, it was really just reading. And it was like watching TED Talks or finding small courses. And then when I got a job at Lululemon, and everything changed. So they're a company, a Canadian company, and they are so into personal development. And I remember the first 2 weeks of my training, the first week was all about me and about my personal development. And I was like, whoa, this is an incredible company.
Yeah.
So I was with them for 3 years. And with them, you write down your goals and you put them on the wall for everyone to see. Like
Really?
the people that come into the store, your
right.
colleagues, everyone, so that you're held accountable. And this was my first sort of introduction to being held accountable.
Okay.
So on there, I wrote that I wanted to go to Landmark Forum, which is a personal development course.
Okay.
And Lululemon, they pay for their staff, or they used to pay for their staff to go to this course. But a few of the managers and other staff members had been and were like, why do you want to go to that? It's horrendous. Because basically you're looking at really deep within you.
Okay. I've never heard of it.
It's incredible.
Yeah?
If you look it up, it'll say it's a cult, but
Right, okay.
it's not.
I need to check this out.
It's amazing. So I went there, and it's a 3-day course. So you're there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you go back on the Tuesday to sort of finish it all up. And it's like, I don't know, 12-hour days maybe? I can't remember. Long days.
Yeah.
And you go in there and you are like, you've been put in a washing machine, an emotional one. And everything came up. And you have to take responsibility. You have to make phone calls to people to clear your shit up. I cried for all 3 days.
Really?
But by the Sunday night, I had this massive breakthrough. And even when I think of it now, I've got goosebumps. Like, for the first time in my life, I felt freedom. I felt like I belonged. And I felt like I was here for a reason.
Wow.
And I was addicted
That's
to
powerful.
that feeling.
Yeah.
So
just maybe to get some insight, what are some of the tools, the techniques that they would use in order to take you through that transformational process?
Yeah, so these sort of courses or these seminars, you have to be in it. It's really hard to describe. The first thing was, you get breaks, but your breaks are not breaks. Your breaks are your time to go and do some homework.
Right.
And on the first day, the first break, I had said that I was going to phone someone, and I went on the break and I basically didn't make that phone call.
Right.
I was scared. I was scared to phone the person. I'd said to the room, now it's 120 people in that room, that I was going to make that phone call, and I didn't do it. And when I came back in, the lady leading it, she's amazing, Birtue, she's Turkish and she's fiery and she's strong but so compassionate. She was like, she pointed to me and she went, did you make that call? And I was like, no. And you've got 120 people looking at you and you feel like, well, I started to convulsing in my seat and I was like, crying so much. And my friend who was on the course was really panicking, thinking, oh shit, is she going to come back from this? So it allowed me to see, where's that showing up in my life? I'm not taking responsibility. So that was the first course. Incredible. When I came home, people noticed there was a difference. My son even noticed. And then from that, I then started to get committed to myself.
Okay.
On another level. No more book. Well, the books are still being read, but for me to get to where I want to be, these courses really work for me.
Okay.
So I done Landmark Advanced and Landmark Forum, and then they've got a course called Landmark Advance. So the first course, the forum, is all about you. The second course, I believe, is all about how we are all connected. We are all one. And you come together with, I think there were 60 people in our group. And I've never felt so connected to humanity and life than I did at that point. Like, I've had many experiences afterwards, but I was blown away again. And again came back like feeling like I'd up-leveled again.
Wow.
So now I'm committed to doing these courses. So since then, there's a course called Psi Seminar.
Okay.
PSI, which...
I might have heard of that.
It comes from California. Dr. Wayne Dyer was a fan. Bob Proctor's a fan of it. And yeah, that is incredible. It's coming back to the UK in October. And I've done the basic course twice. And I'm going to California in November to do their 7-day course. And on this, you basically, 7 days of transformation is the same amount, like you'll have the same amount of growth as you would do, like doing 7 years work on yourself.
Seriously?
So spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically.
Wow. Okay. So how do you measure your progress? I mean, I would typically look at something like levels of consciousness as a means to, or like a barometer for gauging where you are in terms of your sort of progress as a person. But do you have a means of being able to say, like, this is where I am at the moment and this is where I want to be, or where you are relative to where you ultimately want to get to?
I think when you look at the results in your life,
okay,
then that gives you a good idea of like if the course has worked or
yes,
not.
Yeah.
You know, done Landmark, I've done Tony Robbins as well, the UPW course.
Yeah.
I think it's more like unhappiness inside, a more contentment. Business is getting better. You know, relationship with my son is getting better because mum's happier. You know, he notices. Relationships with other people are much better and people just feel it. I don't know how you sort of, I just know for me, I love doing these courses. I love digging deep. And for me to serve my clients powerfully, I have to do the work. I need to go to these dark places so that I can help them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Cool. Wow. Like, I've only done, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head if I've done anything else like that. I mean, I might have done, but certainly one of my mentors, Peter Sage, I went to one of his events, which is an intensive 12-hour day, 3-day thing where in day number 1, you get broken down as a person.
Yeah, it's the same
to look
thing.
at like all your stuff, and then it's like, oh my God, right, okay. But then it's like you still have to do the work.
Yeah, you still have to do the work
like
afterwards.
The immediate transformation, right there you go, you're a new person. And whilst speaking for my own experience, I feel that I have changed significantly, but there's still a lot of things that I do where I'm like, I shouldn't be doing that. I need to try and weed that out. I need to try and iron that out.
Oh, same.
And there may be like, I don't know whether they're old patterns or whether it's like mirroring stuff. I mean, certainly my eating is probably the main thing that I do where I'm like, that's still quite destructive, I still need to address that. But yeah. Interesting stuff. Like reading your bio, you talk about it as healing yourself, which I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people probably talk about it as like a recovery, but that maybe sounds a little bit kind of, like you're coming off a drug or something. But
yeah.
So yeah. How much more healing do you think you need to do?
I think I'll always be healing till I exit this life because there's always stuff. And actually that brings me on to, so I ended up being on the antidepressant for 8 years. It kind of was like became a crutch, right? I was scared in case I came off that and I went back to who I had been, sorry.
That's okay.
So last year at UPW, Unleash the Power Within, as a participant, Tony Robbins, I spent 4 days in that environment and then came out and threw my antidepressants in the bin, and I've not been on them since. So I've healed myself now from the depression and the anxiety. And that's another thing I want to share with people, because I never believed I would come off those tablets. I thought maybe I'd be on them for life. But I done the work, the inner work. And I took responsibility and I started to understand why I was, because the tablets were, they make you feel a bit better, but they kind of mask stuff. So it's about going in deeper.
So having gone through the journey that you've been on, what do you have any advice that you could offer to other people that are maybe suffering from anxiety or depression as a means of trying to, alleviate the suffering?
Yeah, definitely. Meditation was like the foundation of my healing.
Okay.
And that's why I run weekly meditation classes, because it's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
People think it's maybe woo-woo or simple, but life is actually simple. We make it complicated.
Yeah.
And meditation's not about feeling good. Sometimes you might be there crying or screaming because you have actually got to sit with yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
For a certain amount of time,
So talk me through your meditation practice. What does that look like?
So mine's is usually in the morning.
Okay.
So I get up like an hour and a half before my son awakens.
Right. Okay.
And I leave my phone on airplane mode so that I'm not reactive, because if we look at that first thing, we're going to react. So leave that off, get downstairs, get myself a hot water, and just either meditate first or do a bit of reading first.
Okay.
Sometimes if I read first, it'll awaken me so that I'm not going into the meditation and just like going back to sleep. So my morning practice is where I meditate consistently. And then if there's time through the day or sometimes at night.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you use an app? Do you use guided meditation? Is it just a case of, you just sit there and just allow thoughts to, be the observer of the thought, or what does it look like?
Yeah, it can look different. I can sit in silence. Or I love Insight Timer.
Insight Timer? I don't even know I've heard of that.
So it's an app. It's free.
Okay.
And it's got 15,000 free meditations on there.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Andrew Johnson,
awesome.
our friend, has got many. And Andrew actually helped me to upload one that I've done. So I've now got like my favourite app. I've got a meditation on there. So that's good.
Sweet. And what sort of things come up during your meditation?
Different things. Ideas sometimes. Sometimes just like a feeling of there's nothing to worry about,
Yeah.
The only moment we have is now. Like, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Everything's okay. Everything's always going to be fine.
People possibly think I'm nuts, but actually you can see them up there. I bought crystals recently.
Oh, yeah.
I got them fairly recent. I've not actually used them yet, but they say that because the actual stone has a certain energy with it, it means that you get a certain type of meditation whilst doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any science to prove that. Do you do anything like...
I used to really be into crystals.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? What did you find using them?
Yeah, good. It's just whatever works for you, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
I've got crystals in the house, and, I have angel cards and stuff, and I have a quartz crystal just to cleanse the angel cards. So they're there, and now and again they'll pop out, but I used to be really into them. I think I was really into them before I started really going deep with the courses.
Right, okay.
Because maybe I was looking for other things to like make me feel better. So I still have them, but I now realise it's just really all inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I use them to enhance things rather than like, I used to like wear them in my bra and think this is it. This will protect me. But then I was still like fighting with myself inside. So they definitely, I think I don't really know much about them.
Yeah.
But there's people that, will know all about them and will use them in the right way. Maybe I wasn't using them with the right intention.
Well, that's it. Yeah. Intention, we were saying this earlier, is so important.
Intention is everything.
It is, yeah. Totally. I'm going to ask you about your coaching. So when did you first get involved in coaching, and how would you describe your style?
Okay. So I think, when you were talking about there, you go to the course, say the seminar.
Yes.
Then when you come out, I think the best thing to do is to get a coach. And my sister-in-law was training to be a coach, and she used me as her case study. And I was blown away because I had wanted to manifest something, and we'd done it. We'd done what I asked for. It didn't quite come in the way I wanted it to come because I hadn't got so clear, like, on my intention.
Okay.
But I really felt the power of it. I was
Yeah.
like, this is amazing, because I've done counselling, before when I was feeling crap.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like I was swimming in my misery. So when I done the coaching, I felt really empowered. I was making the choices. My coach was holding the space, asking me the right questions. And I fell in love with it then. And then my brother has mindful talent.
Mm-hmm.
So I trained with mindful talent when I was still working at Lululemon.
Okay, yeah.
And I'd done it just, I think, more to find out more about myself. And, I love to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was going to be something maybe that I was going to take into basically doing as a business at that time. I just was really enjoying to be, the pupil again.
Mm-hmm.
So I trained with them, and then I loved it so much. So I had lots of case studies. I was really active on that. I'd done about 40 hours of case studies. I think you're only meant to do 20 hours, but I was loving it so much. I love, even in one session, somebody transforms. Mm. So I was just really inspired, and then I just kept going with it. So I've now been qualified a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And I love coaching. It's a real passion of mine now.
What do you think are some of the best coaching questions you can ask people?
Oh God, it really depends in the moment, it depends in the moment. My style is very heart led. So at the start of my session, I will take them into their heart space. So I use meditation. So we'll go in there, and as they're really focusing in on their heart and they've got their eyes closed, I'll tune in to my intuition, and I'll ask a question that's right for that person. So different things come up. And then also when they're in there, I'll plant a little sort of affirmation so that they come out and they've really absorbed that affirmation and they've felt it. Mm-hmm. And we bring in some gratitude as well, because I feel that when we're in the state of gratitude, we're vibrating at a different frequency.
Yeah.
So then we're more open to possibility. Okay. So they come out that and they're like, right, what do I want? What do I really want?
Yeah.
Yeah, anything's possible.
And then where do you take people from there? Is it a case of goal setting and looking where they want to go, or
well, it depends.
What's the process?
So the first session I would meet them for, I'd take them into the heart space, and then we'd look at either one or two areas that's important to them that they want to work on.
Do you use the wheel of life type model?
Yeah, we can do the wheel. Sometimes I do it my own way.
Yeah.
It's just really getting clear on where they are and what they're wanting to sort of achieve.
Yes.
And then we look at, how it's looking right now, but then we look at, 10 out of 10. What do you want it to look like? What would it look like if it was amazing? And allow them to dream. And I get some movement in there. Sometimes get them to dance.
Yeah, really?
So if we're in a cafe doing it, you can imagine. But I do a lot of my sessions online because it allows the coachee to be in the comfort of their own home, so that when I do say, let's stand up and have a wee dance, they don't feel so awkward, yeah? They can just let themselves go.
Oh man, that must really challenge the ego, dancing in front of people. And
yeah, I like my coaching to be fun.
Yeah.
Fun, but deep as well.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to come away with clarity and insights and, motivation.
Yeah. What do you feel is your purpose?
My purpose is, like I said, to create these spaces, to empower people, to enrich people so that they enrich others, because my purpose is to help to create world peace. And we can only do that one mind at a time. And that's why I like Sai's seminar. Their whole intention is world peace, one mind at a time.
Is that right?
Yeah. That's why I'm so into that course. Because it's the truth.
Huh.
It's the only reason we're fighting.
Mm.
Is because our minds are telling us. Michael A. Singer, have you heard of him?
No, I've not, no.
Oh my God.
So.
He's wrote The Untethered Soul and The Surrender Experiment.
Right, okay.
And he says, our minds can be a dangerous place or a great gift. It's the truth.
Yeah.
And that dangerous place he talks about is what is causing wars, conflict.
Yeah. You spoke earlier about the fact that, the sort of connectedness, that we are all connected. I mean, how do people teach other people that that's the case? How do you ensure that humanity aren't trying to destroy each other?
Yeah, I think it's when you start to find the light within yourself, that peacefulness, people start to be drawn towards you because you kind of feel like freedom to them, right? because they're like, maybe they're struggling and they're like, oh, what have you done? I remember standing on the door of Lululemon, and I was just back from Landmark, so I'm buzzing, right? Hiya, how you doing? And this couple, Simone and Mike, I just sort of met them a few times. They came up to me and they were like, what have you done? And then I said to them, I've been on this course. And they were like, oh, we want to find out about it. I was like, you probably won't be able to find anything online. But I said, to give you a good idea, if you go and watch Tony Robbins' I Am Not Your Guru on Netflix, it's similar to Landmark, the same sort of thing. So they went home, they done that. And then they came back about 2 weeks later and they're like, we've booked Tony. I'm like, amazing. I've always wanted to go to Tony. Amazing. They were like, we just couldn't find out much about Landmark. So we've just gone straight with Tony Robbins. So they went 2 years ago to UPW, had like massive breakthroughs. And when they were there, they signed up for all these courses, right? So they went on a year of Tony Robbins courses. They were in Fiji, Florida, everywhere. And when I left Lululemon, I messaged them to say, I've left, like I'm going to do my own thing now. And they were like, oh, we want to celebrate with you. Come and meet us at the beach, Portobello, for a coffee. So January last year, met them. We were talking about everything. Then they were like, listen, we want to gift you 2 tickets to Tony Robbins UPW. And I was like, what?
Wow.
Like, you should have, honestly, it was the best moment of my life. I just received gracefully.
Yeah.
And they were so excited. I was so excited. And it's that ripple effect. So because I stood that day, shining brightly and feeling free, they felt it, they wanted it, they took action.
Yeah.
And then they gave me that beautiful gift to then, like, and then all of us just done the crew members for Tony Robbins this year.
I was going to say, yeah,
they
I was
done
going to
it
ask
too.
you about
Simone
this,
and Mike
actually.
were there too.
Is
So
that
we all
right?
got to like give back.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So what was the experience like this year?
Off the scale.
Yeah.
It's really hard to put into words. Like, last year, obviously, like I transformed massively. You know, you walk across fire the first night.
Is it the first night?
First night. So doing that the first night, you're like, I am fucking powerful, you know? No burns on me, yes. So you do that the first night. It's just an incredible experience. It's a party. It reminded me of being in Ibiza without the drugs.
Yeah,
Like
really.
you're basically finding that ecstasy within yourself.
Yeah, that's such a cool way of putting
Which
it.
is like, so many people said that. I feel like I'm in Ibiza. Yes, the music's so loud, you're dancing, you're so high, and then you're so low at moments. So it's like high, low, high, then really high.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this year, crew member, you're there for an extra day because you've got a day's training.
Oh,
And
right.
I got to be on fire crew this year.
Yeah, really.
So I was, and it's funny because the first year when you're walking across that fire, you don't understand how supported you are from all the crew members.
Okay.
So there's 600 crew members.
Mm-hmm.
And we were basically, me and my friend Alina were called
600.
600. We were first anchor, we were called. So
Okay.
basically we were there with our arms together, catching the people straight after they walk the fire to say to them, stop, wipe your feet. And we'd wash their feet, the little guy here, celebrate. So can you imagine looking in the eyes of hundreds of people who've just walked across that fire and they've just realized that they've like achieved that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, celebrate. And their eyes are like, wah. And then they leave. And then there's somebody else to meet them, to dance with them and jump up and down.
Yeah.
And Tony Robbins was like 2 lanes and like beside us. And his presence, he was just massive.
Yeah.
So we, you know, assisted at that. There was another part of the 4-day event that I assisted at this amazing point that he does, this exercise that he does that goes on for about 3 hours. And I was in the heart of it. And I was just standing, sending love to 12,000 people as they were transforming through something that's really quite tough.
Mm-hmm.
But when they transform that, so it's like they're in this suffering, they're in this pain. And then all crew members are standing 600, sending love, right? And then suddenly it's just a whole room of love because people are coming out the suffering and they're realizing that they've got responsibility. They can change, they can choose, and everyone's up, like so excited, so much love in the room. It was like, whoa, I will never forget that for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
It's really hard to like describe, but hopefully you can feel it.
I suppose when so many people leave that and go into the world, I suppose the net positive outcome of that must be massive.
Yeah.
Because everyone that they're in contact with, and then
Yep.
everyone they're in contact with, and it's that sort of ripple effect.
Yeah, ripple effect.
Yeah. Wow.
Amazing.
That's awesome. I've never been. I definitely need to go to one.
Yeah, and you always
Love
get a
to.
concert as well. So we had Will I Am this time. And he was on
Yeah.
stage, like, basically kept shouting, energy, energy. I got this energy, energy. We were like, whoa. I actually came away and my eyelids were like,
Yeah.
my eyes are so big. And I'm like, God, this is just on my own energy. Like, I don't drink
Yeah.
anymore. So no alcohol, like just totally present and feeling and alive.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was good. Definitely try it.
I don't wish to lower the mood, but I just feel as though I kind of need to ask you, because recently there's been some articles and things coming up on Tony that BuzzFeed have been putting out there.
Yep, I've seen that.
Various allegations and all sorts of all sorts of things. Do you have any sort of thoughts around that?
He is just pure love and light.
Yeah.
You know, I've had a few friends as well who've said stuff, and for me, I healed. Like, I let go of my antidepressants. That man made a difference in my life. And I've got many friends that have been to his courses, and it's made a huge difference. Like, the work I'm doing now is totally inspired by him and his business partner,
Yeah.
who's Joseph McLennan. Like, they guys rock it on that stage, and they get you to a place that you just realise how much power you actually have. So I stand for him all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
he's amazing.
I just sometimes think like a lot of these allegations are things that he might have done in his mid-20s and stuff, and it's like, but why are you bringing it up now?
Yeah, why are you bringing it up now?
You know, why would you not have said that at the time?
Yep.
And also, like, when you consider the number of people that go through his seminars and his courses, and that he kind of touches, so to speak, not in a derogatory way, but you know, like, it's inevitable that you're going to have some people that maybe don't have as positive an experience as others.
Of course. And the course isn't for everyone,
Yeah.
you know? It's
Yeah.
up to you. If you go there and you're like, what the... But
Exactly.
for me, it's just been transformational,
Yeah.
you know?
That is wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only got good things to say.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's like, I just wanted to see what your overall opinion was, and if it's positive, then that's cool.
Yeah, and these things, they want people to feed into that negativity.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, that's sort of mainstream media. That's their business model.
Yeah.
You know, that's how they get people's attention.
Yeah, I stopped watching the TV a long time ago. It was
Yeah.
part of my healing.
And
I just can't. I can't watch news. I can't. No,
seriously,
can't.
no.
Mm.
What about things like politics or
Nope.
anything like that? No, really.
No, I
Yeah.
can't have any negativity like that.
Yeah.
I just stopped watching the TV.
So, like, I know that
I'll
'cause-
watch like Netflix and
Yeah.
TED Talks.
Yeah. I'm basically the same.
Yeah.
Because you know, the counter argument to, if I say that to anyone who is a disbeliever or a cynic, they're like, oh, but how do you keep up to date with like what's
Oh,
happening?
don't worry.
in the
You
world?
find
And,
out.
like,
I'm on social media. you
well, this
hear.
is
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
If you're on social media, it's hard to avoid
You hear.
the stuff that, you know,
Yeah,
the big stuff.
But you know, if I was to watch the news and start worrying about all these things, I'm just adding to that energy, that negative, oh God, that fear is adding to it. And I believe we're all energy. Everything's energy.
Yeah.
So if I'm like adding to that, is it helping it? No. So it's like, okay, what am I passionate about, and how can I find a solution for that, or how can I help that? So mine is I'm passionate about really empowering people. So I'm focused on the coaching. I'm focused on meditation. I'm focused on how can I help people to evolve. So I'll watch things that will help me with that. And then basically, you know, that's what I'm tuning into.
Yes, yeah.
So that's
feeding the positive.
So I'm feeding, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's that universal law, what we focus on expands.
Yep.
So if I was to watch the news all day, I'm going to be back depressed.
Yeah.
Like I was 10 years ago. Is that any use to anyone?
No.
Probably not.
No. There's another one as well where focus goes, energy flows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
And like attracts like.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Love all the universal laws.
Yeah.
So simple.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, simple but not easy, right?
Yeah, we should have been taught that at school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Today, kids were learning about the universal laws. Yes, that would have been so exciting.
Right?
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself going? What are some of your future goals, aspirations?
Future goals.
What are the plans?
Well, I'd like to meet a husband.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready now.
You ready?
I'm a little bit sooner. I just think, a lovely gentleman who's into personal development, who can enhance my life and my son's life. Because for many years I was thinking, we're too much of a burden, we're a package, and I'm like, actually, we're a good package. And if somebody came along, I think it'd be so nice to hang out and create a life with them. So husband's one of them.
Okay.
Business-wise, I'd like to talk to larger audiences, which scares me, but I need to push out that comfort zone,
Yeah.
And what
Speaking
else?
is a tough one.
Yeah.
Speaking's really tough. It's something that
Because you love to speak.
I do love to speak. Yeah. Yeah, when the time's right.
And you done it yesterday.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I was speaking at the Creative Events. It was formerly the Blogger Annual Conference, and they rebranded to Creative Events, which kind of sounds probably a bit more expansive and a bit more like
more people can get involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Less niche. And it was awesome. I had an absolute blast. Like, I'm still sort of finding my own flavor as a speaker, I think.
Yep.
I'm still relatively early in the journey, but I thoroughly enjoy doing it. It's great. And you're right, it's a means to be able to have a positive effect or impact on so many people in the one place. Like, why would you not want to do that if you have the opportunity to?
Yeah. It's scary the way.
Yeah. Like, going along, I was like, you get all the sort of, the doubts and the negative thoughts and the sort of imposter syndrome. Like, geez, who am I? But, it's funny because Tony Robbins, there's a video on YouTube. It's called Tony Robbins Incantations.
Okay.
And he does this exercise, and I don't know whether he still does it, but it's called I Am the Voice.
Yes, I am the voice.
Yes.
I will lead, not follow.
Exactly.
I will create, not destroy.
I will believe, not doubt.
Yeah.
I am a force for good.
So see the thing I was talking about when I was holding the hand on the heart, sending the love.
Yeah.
Once everyone, that's what we were all shouting together.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then we sung, I'm not afraid to take a stand. Yeah. So were you saying that as you went along the road?
Yeah. I had that. I had my AirPods in, and I was playing Tony Robbins Incantations in my ear. So he basically says that, like, affirmations, people do affirmations, but if you're, like, emotionally not attached to it, then you can't actually engage.
Yep.
You can tell yourself, like, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. You can say that over and over, but if your brain's like, bullshit, I'm not happy, then it's game over. So I listened to these incantations. I used to listen to them going to work.
Yeah.
Like going into like a sort of formal company, and you'd go in and you're like fucking supercharged, and everyone else's energy is just kind of like,
what are you so happy at?
And it's just
go back to bed.
Disparity in the energy, so it was kind of like, maybe I should stop doing that. Or maybe I should be elsewhere and not working here,
Exactly.
Because I want to be on a different energetic plane.
Yeah. And I think that's right. You know what it says? If you think of Muhammad Ali, when he used to say, I'm the greatest, he was punching out, he's like, I am the greatest. And he's moving and punching. So that movement, using your physiology.
Well, that's it. Yeah, because you're basically using your body and really getting behind the things that you're saying to really, fully put it in there and believe it, and just But I wouldn't do it outdoors. Like, walking along the street with these big motions. Like, no, I did a bit of
not follow. I believe, not destroy. Believe, not doubt. Sorry.
I did some of the shouting in my house, but then as soon as I was outdoors, I was like, just walk along the street.
I challenge you to get out in that street next week and see what happens.
Just start incantating.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's the problem with society. We're not having any fun.
I might end up in an asylum or something.
Oh, that's fine. I'll come
right.
check you out.
I told them to do it. I feel like it was Lynette's fault. You're right though. Like, they're super powerful. I'm trying to think what else I did. I did some sort of meditation. And I've also got Peter Sage it's in audiobook form, and it's basically like, it's just music, but he's talking over the top of the music.
Yeah.
So he talks about things like inspiration, determination, and I often play them. They're just
amazing.
a really good way of just kind of like centering yourself and just focusing and being like, Because even if you're not consciously listening to it, you could be showering at the same time or doing stuff, but subconsciously it's all going in. It's all going in. So it's super cool. Love all that stuff.
Yeah, and you know, the public speaking I still now can be shaken. I was at Detox Health and Beauty and my friend was like, "You're amazing." I was like, funny because when I was trying to put the mic on, my hand was like,
Really?
like, hey, don't look at the hand. Don't look at the hand. Just pretend.
But you do quite a bit of speaking-y stuff now, no?
Yeah, getting in there, but
Yeah.
still can bring up like, oh no, here we go.
Really?
Yeah, and then afterwards, like, what did I even say? Did that make sense?
Yeah. So what are some of the things that you do now to maybe kind of get yourself geared up?
Yeah, so the affirmations. Also,
Yeah.
like, finding my move. So I've got this. So in Tony Robbins, he gets you to find your move and he says, do your move and say yes.
Oh,
So
okay.
I remember I had an egg event that I'd done last year. And I was like, you got a toilet I can use? Went into the toilet and all the women are outside. And I'm like, oh God. And I just went in and I was like, yes, yes, yes. And deep breaths, ground, right. But, you know, you just have to go. I think the more that you do these things, the less shaky and sweaty you become.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then you're still going to have that fear, like it's normal.
And
And it's good because then you can turn that into excitement. And, you know, it's that feeling afterwards when you've done it, even if it's not gone quite right.
Yeah.
You still feel amazing and uplifted and up-leveled because you've
Yeah.
like pushed through and just showed up.
Well, that's it. You put yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And so you have that sense of sort of satisfaction that you've done something to challenge yourself,
Yeah,
if nothing else. you
Yeah.
know? But it's funny, like yesterday, I won't name the person, I don't want to implicate anyone, but the person is a speaker by trade. And I mean, he works for a speaking organization. He speaks every day, sometimes multiple times.
Yeah.
And I was like, how many talks do you think you've done? And he's like way over 1,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? I was like, wow, that's a lot. And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I still get nervous.
Yep.
And I'm like really? You know,
Yeah.
you probably know this stuff inside and out. You do it every day and you still
Yeah.
get that feeling.
I think was it Madonna that used to be sick before she went on stage, or still does? I don't know. It's like
that
some
right?
big celebrity who's
Uh-huh.
a singer, been doing it for years, still vomits before they go on because it's just your body. It's that fight or flight. You know, you're like, oh, this is a
Yeah.
threat to me. The brain doesn't want to cortisol all through the body. Shit, run. You know,
Oh, man.
people. I think it's meant. Is it not like the scariest thing, that or death?
Yeah.
Two most scariest things.
I should know this because in the interview that I did with Mel Sherwood, I brought it up as a statistic. I think it's like 75% of people are more afraid of public speaking than they are death.
Oh God.
I think it is. It's something like that. I'll need to double check that.
Yeah,
but
something like that. I knew that.
just
That's
bananas,
crazy.
you know?
What the hell?
What's actually going to happen to you? It's unlikely that anyone's going to pull out a gun
Yeah.
and shoot you, or that a tiger's going to run out. But yeah, it's just one of these.
It's that embarrassment thing.
I think
You're
it is.
Yeah.
I think it is. You know, I was thinking last night it'd be so funny to like go into a public speaking room where you're doing a talk and film before you go into it and just say like, I'm going to intentionally trip up. And fall on the ground and see what their reaction is. And then
Yeah.
as soon as you walk in, you like just collapse in a heap and see what their reaction is, and then play the video back to them where you say, actually, this was intentional, and then see what the reaction. Because that's basically like, what's the worst thing that can
Yeah.
actually go wrong in that environment?
Yeah.
And like, if it actually does, does it change anything?
I think
Not really.
I think it's more the speaking
yeah.
thing. I don't know. For me, it's not tripping up. It's like what is about to
What
come out
might
my
come
mouth,
out.
or what won't come out, and you're just like
But even
like a rabbit in the headlights.
What's really the worst thing that could potentially come out? Like you maybe accidentally swear or
Oh
something.
God, I
I'm
do
still
that.
like,
I
yeah.
do that. I was doing a talk on Sunday and I swore many times.
Really, yeah?
Yeah, but I'm like, oh, then you feel more real. As long as
Well,
there's no
that's-
children in the crowd.
Yeah, precisely. So do you see yourself talking on like platforms to big audiences and stuff?
I'd
or-
love to.
Yeah.
I'd love
would be
that
awesome.
vision, like, or guiding like thousands of people through a meditation. I would like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big mass meditation at a big
Yeah.
festival, Glastonbury.
Yeah.
Put me on that stage.
I definitely need to come along to one of your meditations.
Yes,
They look
and
awesome.
you're just round the corner,
At
on
Cam.
Cannon Street,
Yeah.
on a Thursday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool. What time do you
11
run them?
a.m.
Is it every Thursday?
every Thursday,
Yeah?
11 till 12.
11 till 12.
Yeah.
And what's the format?
So we come in, I share my intention,
Mhm.
and then everyone in the room gets to write down their intention, and if they want, they can share.
Okay.
And each week I come in with a theme. So this week is stress hacks.
Ooh.
So I'm going to share like 3 stress hacks that they could maybe use in their day. and we'll talk about stress, and then we'll go into a heart meditation. So we're bringing lots of gratitude into the heart space, and then we'll come out of that, we'll pick some cards. So it's a little bit like angel cards, little insights, and then we'll go into a relaxation meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
So it's an hour, but you kind of explore quite a lot, and you get to relax as well.
Yeah.
And there's opportunity for people to speak, but you don't have to. But that can be powerful.
Yeah.
Because it's a confidential space, and people don't always know each other, and sometimes that's easier to share. You know?
Yeah. Cam are doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, Cam are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only been, I'm trying to think how many times. It would be like just a couple of times, because I've done Andrew Johnson's guided meditation there. Which that was a surreal experience. Yeah, it was like, you know, because you went so deep with it, and it was so the environment was just so tranquil that when I actually came to, I actually was like, where am I?
Yeah.
You know, this is not where I thought I was.
I went to one of his, so it's funny because my brother years ago, when he ended up in hospital, like really ill, and his friend at the time said, you need to start meditating, and he found Andrew Johnson online. So he would listen to Andrew Johnson every night. And then, like, fast forward to just 3 years ago, he met Andrew, and he said the first thing he said was, I fall asleep to you every night. And Andrew's like, maybe not want to share that. So, and then I got to meet him, and I was like, and then he came to my class, and I went, oh, the meditation guru is in the class. And he was like, shut up. He's so, like, humble.
He is so humble.
And I remember going to one of his sessions, and as he was bringing us back up, I had this real sense of, oh my God. And I just went, wow, and I screamed, and everyone went, he was like, right, are you all right? I'm like, I was so excited. Forgot where I was again.
Celebrity.
And no, I think it was just the way he'd taken us to the visualization. I was excited for what was coming.
Right. Oh, okay.
Instead of like keeping it in, I just went, wow. Like at the end of the meditation, totally ruined the like atmosphere.
Oops. Do you do stuff at the Restoration Yard?
Yes, tonight.
Is it really?
Tuesday night, yes. It's a beautiful space.
It looks amazing. I've never been there either, but I definitely want to check that out.
Basically surrounded with like forest.
So what is it?
So it's a country park, the Buccleuch House, run by the Buccleuch family. And the Restoration Yard is a place that's, I think it's been running 2 years now. It used to be where all the pigs were. So it's like an old courtyard, and the building they've kept the same, but they've just refurbished it. So there's like a cafe, a restaurant, a shop, and then upstairs wellbeing lab. And there it's just a beautiful space to chill out. So they do yoga and they do all different stuff. But I do my Tuesday night, and that is where my classes started. So I'd read, it's funny, I'd read Lewis Howe's book on holiday. And through reading that, I was like, what am I doing? Just start something. Just start.
What's that called, that book? I should know that. Something
Can't remember.
Masculine something?
Not the masculine one. No. He's done one before that.
Right, okay.
I think it was just about starting business or starting something.
Yeah.
So I was like, what am I doing? And I came home on holiday, and I just phoned the lady and said, can I book that out on a Tuesday night? And then I was like, right, just call it meditation and affirmations. So yeah, started it 2 years ago, and it's just grew from strength to strength. So
how did you know that you were able to do guided meditations before you were doing them, if that makes sense?
So I went on a course called Connected Kids, which is a kids meditation course, and learned how to do kids meditations. And then I went into a school for 6 months to volunteer with my friend Emma. She done the yoga part and I done the meditations. And children are always your best audience to practice on, because they will tell you when you're shit, you know. So they were my audience, and I just really enjoyed. At first I was really like panicking, like, oh my God, writing out scripts. Now it's getting easier because you just start to like use your imagination and tune in. And I remember Lorraine, who does Connected Kids, you have an opportunity to share a meditation with the rest of the room. I was totally in my head, panicking. And then she went, just stop for a moment. Can you start speaking from your heart? And I was like, oh, what does that mean? Didn't know what it meant. She went, talk about your son. So then I just like, instead of actually guiding, I just spoke about my son. And everyone, she was like, asked the rest of the room. She was like, do you feel that? They were like, well, yes. Didn't feel the last thing she was talking about, but felt that. So she really planted a seed in me to realise it was all about the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to sort of follow the work of Greg Braden, and I watched
Yeah.
loads of his videos, and it's all about, you know, he was a scientist and realised that science doesn't get all right.
Mm-hmm.
And he realised we have a deep power within us, and it's right in our heart. So I just start to talk from the heart.
Mm. That's so cool.
And just went with it. And I've done theta healing, so, you know,
Okay.
getting into that theta brainwave.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'd done loads of different things,
Yeah.
and it was a class that I wanted to go to. So I created something I would want to go to.
That's such a great way of, yeah, that's such a good way of looking at things.
And, you know, to begin with, sometimes one person would turn up. Sometimes nobody would turn up. But I remember, I think it's in Lewis's book, was like, just keep showing up. And, you know, Tony, everyone says that. All these great leaders are like, you have to keep showing up. You have to be committed.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're committed to something, and the universe, or whatever you want to call it, sees that you're committed, then, you know, things will start to happen. But they need to make sure that you're, like, resilient. So I could have gave up a few times, like, oh, this is a waste of time, nobody's coming. But I was like, I just have to keep doing it. And it helps you to practice speaking every week. You know, I've got that weekly practice of expressing myself. And luckily, I've got people that want to hear what I've got to express and feel what I've got to express. Yeah.
That's super cool. So, advice. I'm just thinking advice for people that are interested in getting involved in things like, say, coaching, for example.
Yeah.
Having, you know, gone through your sort of process to date, what would you say if someone's looking to become a coach? The reason that I ask is because I think there's a lot of, or there's maybe not a lot of regulation around coaching, and so some people are just like, well, I'm a life coach.
Yeah,
you know, they just wake up, or they maybe do like a wee you know, hours online course, and they're like, right, I'm just going to set up a Facebook business page, and here I go, I'm off.
I know it happens
with no real tools or you know, education or understanding of how it actually works. So
I would
what would
say
be your advice?
I would say get an accredited coach and practice. So the one that I done, I am accredited. I don't know, find the coach that works for you. A coach shouldn't tell you what to do. They can give you suggestions. They can, you know, show you things that maybe has worked for them or other people. But really, a coach is the one that's just holding the space, asking you the questions. And you've got to, if you're looking for a coach, you've got to find somebody that you gel with, somebody that really you feel inspired by, somebody that maybe has good energy. And don't go for the first coach. Like, maybe speak to a few before you decide. And for somebody that wants to train as a coach, then find a good organisation. Find something that you connect with. Do your research. And the more sort of teachings and learnings, the better coach you'll become. And I think that's why these seminars are so important to me, because every time I go, I understand like humans more and more. So the more that you understand how the human being works, the easier it is to coach people, because we're all going through the same stuff. It might just come in different packages, but we all feel the same way, and we are so connected. And I think in my classes, when somebody shares, not only do they heal by getting it out, but everyone in the class heals because they can relate to that story in some way. And that's the power. That's what I learned at Landmark. It was all about people sharing. And like sharing stuff that you're like, oh my God, I thought my life was shitty. That is nothing compared to what this person's been through.
I think that's like a matter of perspective as well. It's like one person's struggles might be, or might seem worse, but it's all relative, because to the individual it might feel just as bad,
And that's it, in Landmark, I remember them saying something, there could be two little boys in life, and something like one boy, his brother stole his apple, and the other boy was molested. But they both felt the same. They had that same reaction, like hurt, or like something was taken from them. And then they grew up the same way. Even though one was tragic, one thing that happened was tragic, and the other thing was nothing. But to that little boy, it was massive. At that time, it triggered something in him. So even though we might be like, oh, my story's not that bad, it matters to you though.
Of course.
So it's like, how do you heal that wound?
Yeah.
How do you give yourself compassion? Yeah.
Jeez. Powerful stuff.
So interesting.
It is. It's absolutely fascinating. It really is. I suppose it's like part of it's human psychology. You know, how people work, how they're programmed. Yeah.
In Sai seminar, you know, I loved that they said, you know, you're either in growth state or decay state. Right?
Ooh, okay.
So every day we must be growing. We're like plants. We're like nature. And if we're not growing, we're decaying.
Yeah, I've heard if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah, and when you're on holiday, that's fine to decay for 2 weeks, you know, like just let yourself go. But everyday life, like try and learn something every single day. Try and grow.
What are some of your favourite personal development books or resources or podcasts or go-tos?
So The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer, and he also has a free course, which is 3 10-minute videos. I can share the link with you, actually. You'll love it.
Cool.
He has done the Surrender Experiment as well. So I love that book. All the Dr. Wayne Dyer, The Power of Intention. When I read that, everything changed. I got the job at Lululemon, and then all the stuff, the good stuff, started to happen. All the juice.
And is that because you started living in alignment, or because
I hadn't heard of intention before? I didn't even know what that word meant. Okay. And I was like, oh, right. And then when you go, like, when I do all this work that I'm doing, intention is everything. Mm-hmm. And that's why I always now set intentions, even before I drive. Like, the intention is that I drive safely.
Seriously? Yeah. Intention behind everything.
Sometimes I forget. Like this morning when I ate those sugary cereals, my intention should have been, and I'm drinking a coffee, the intention around food needs to get a little bit clearer. But I try, you know,
You're human.
I'm human. But when I remember, I try as much as possible to set the intention of what I want. And that's why I do it in my classes.
Mm-hmm.
And it usually works. You know, the intention is to serve everyone lovingly and powerfully. The intention is that we all together hold and create a safe, confidential space. Mm-hmm. And the intention is that you all leave here, and I'll say how I want them to leave, feeling uplifted, connected, calm, peaceful. And then at the end of the class, I'll say, how does everyone feel? And usually it's some of the words that I've said, because our words are powerful.
Mm-hmm. I think it's so cool that you have that level of interaction and positive impact on people. Like for me, for example, I don't have, you know, whilst I do this and I put out stuff and sometimes you get comments like, oh, that was awesome. Yeah. I don't have anything more tangible. Yeah. Like I'm having a really like person to person sort of experience. So that's something that I'd really like to do for sure. Yeah. But you know, you just face all these like the little noises, like the limiting beliefs, and the like, oh, but who am I to do that? Or like, I don't have the training, or it's funny when, you know, I've been doing obviously the live interviews on Facebook, and when I ask people, do you want to come on? And they're like, oh, no, everyone you've had on's been great. I'm like, yeah, but everyone's got greatness inside them. You know, accept it and just let's go with it and see what happens, because we've all got a story to tell. We've all got things to share. So every single human being has got like value,
yes.
Insights, experience, awesomeness. Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But it's often easier to see that in others than it is to see it in yourself, and I don't know why that is.
But what you can see in others is also in you, or you couldn't see it. Yeah.
That's deep. That's a deep insight. I like that.
So when am I coming to your class then?
We'll need to figure that out. But
Insights with Elliot.
Yeah, Insights with Elliot. I quite like the sound of that. Oh, yeah. I need to figure it out, but no, it's totally, I'd really like to do something like that.
Good.
It would be cool.
Humanity needs it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know you don't pay attention to the news, but everything that's kicking off and going on, there needs to be more love, more sharing, more love for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. So where can people find you, Lynette? Where are you online? Where are you? Your website, all that good stuff.
Yeah, Instagram is always a great place to connect.
Do you like Instagram?
I love it.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, really like it. And I used to, so it evolved. Mine started as a t-shirt brand. So I had a brand called Angel Pixie Love.
Oh, yeah, because I've seen that handle on some of your stuff. Okay,
yes.
right.
And our best-selling t-shirt was I Love Your Face, which came from my son, who used to tell me, Mummy, I love your face. It was like an affirmation, and I started to believe it. I was like, oh, is my face okay then? So we put on a t-shirt thinking, oh, it's a bit cheesy. And then that sold the most. And then we had I Love Your Beard, and because at the time everyone was growing beards.
Yeah.
And that business taught me a lot. Yeah, it didn't go quite to plan, but it was a great way to connect. And then I just kept going with it, and that whole love and connecting, and it's been a journey. So I just changed the handle recently to lynettegray.co.uk.
Okay.
So at lynettegray.co.uk. So my website.
Yeah.
But that's my handle.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So Instagram, you do your Facebook Lives.
Facebook Lives on my personal page.
That on your personal page?
Yeah, I'm up for and also now I share them on my YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah, of course you
So
do. Yeah,
I
because
think
I've
it's
watched them
just-
there as well.
yeah, I
That
think
makes
it's-
perfect sense.
Yeah, Lynette Gray. So if you can't add me, or for some reason I don't add you on my personal page, go to my YouTube channel, Lynette Gray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you tweet?
No, I gave that up.
Yeah.
Wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
No, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure my stuff probably goes down there very much. But I've had a few.
The corporate
although,
audience.
Yeah, I've had a few people reach out.
Yeah.
So that's good. So yeah, now and again I'll post on there.
I like it.
But mainly Instagram.
Yeah.
I love that.
People it's
Photos.
super popular these days. And I suppose because it's quite diverse in the different things you can do with it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Well, you sent me a voice message through Instagram. I
Oh.
didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, did you not?
I didn't know that. I had no idea. I was
I
like,
love a walkie-talkie.
what?
It's like walkie-talkies back in the day, but actually you can like do them to any country.
yeah.
I love voice notes.
Yeah. I'm in the habit of just, using
It's
my thumbs and
easier.
texting, but you're right.
Because you
it's-
can walk and be like, hi, and send a
but
little voice
There's
note.
probably that, like, what if I say something stupid? I can't delete it.
Nah, it's exciting. And people can feel your energy when you do that. Instead of
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
sometimes you get a text message and you're like, oh, there's no kiss, there's no, that person, their energy, they don't like me. So if you're like booming out a lovely message to somebody, they're like, oh, thanks, that really cheered me up. Go for the voice notes.
Yeah.
WhatsApp, you can do it on there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I have done it. And even Facebook, but I didn't know.
Yeah, I think
Instagram
it's a
was
new
a
thing for
thing.
Instagram.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
private message, voice note.
I need to get on that.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to say, discuss? Is there anything that you feel that we've not covered? Is there anything you
I think
want to ask? Or
I think we're quite good. I think we covered quite a lot.
we've covered
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah.
Covered a lot of
It's
stuff.
been exciting.
Yes.
Taking me down memory lane. I'm like, what else? What else have I done? I can't remember. Yeah, I'm going back to SAI seminar, and it's coming to the UK.
Oh, is
so basically, it's been in California for 45 years, and it's sort of gone around America. And my friend Susie went and was like, we need to bring this to the UK. So that was her dream. And she's brought it now 3 times to Scotland.
Seriously? Wow.
So they fly their leaders over, the facilitators, and they deliver. And it's coming to Gatwick this time. And I'm going to assist at it. And I'm just, if anyone wants to explore something that's really deep, but really amazing, like what that company is about is incredible.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to join me on that journey, it's in October.
Okay.
For a weekend of transformation. Just what this country needs, like positive transformation, world peace. Let's do this.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Because there's a lot of events that take place in London. I know that later in the year there's what's it called? Something conference, Mind something, and it's got like Nassim Haramein, Greg Braden's talking,
Oh,
Dr. Joe
amazing.
Dispenza,
Oh.
Lynn McTaggart. There's a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Lynn McTaggart. I read her book, The Power of 8.
Yeah, I've not actually read any of her books. I've watched a lot of her stuff online and that sort of stuff. But
I used it. I used to experiment in class. So it's basically like getting a group of 8 or more people together with the same intention for one person to heal that one person. So like hand on heart, like really focusing in. So we done it in my class. I got somebody to volunteer, like who's going through stuff or who wants to heal something. And we all stood round and then like sent so much healing to that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, her stuff's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa. Interesting.
Yeah.
I see Tony Robbins, I think it's next year or later this year, is doing Birmingham.
Next year, UPW's Birmingham, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, really?
So I think the Excel Centre, basically they get annoyed with him because he runs over. And last year when I was a participant, he was like, I need to get you guys out here at like 10 p.m. sharp.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think my brother done it in California maybe with him, he was like, I was there till 2 a.m. Because that guy just goes. He's like a Duracell bunny. He doesn't stop for drink or toilet, you know. And I don't know how he does it, but I think maybe, I don't know if that's the reason why. But I think they're quite strict at the Excel, or maybe it's the size. Maybe they're going to go bigger. Not sure. So it's Birmingham, yeah.
Yeah. It'd be awesome. Like, that's one of my, I suppose, big goals or aspirations, is to put on events like that in Scotland.
Oh, do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like, it would be the best means of, you know, how do you create an environment where like you're able to interview people of like, you know, that are doing that sort of stuff. Like how Tony's not just going to happen to come to Edinburgh by accident.
Yeah.
You know, so you need to
put on a big event for them to come.
Create something that would, you know, entice or draw, or like give them a reason to come here.
Yeah.
And maybe it is some sort of TED style speaker event whereby you do, you know, it's still very much a figuring out process and finding the right people in order to help
make that happen.
But you know, that's
cool
there's the
goal.
intention.
Cool
I've
goal.
said it
You've
now.
said it now. It's out there. Amazing.
Yeah. Cool. Lynette, I've loved speaking with you. It's been absolutely awesome. I love your energy. Absolutely awesome.
Amazing.
It's so good. So,
thank you so much for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. And thank you for all your insights and value.
Thank you.
Cheers, Lynette.